It's gonna be all out of sync.
Again.
Hello, heroes. Thank you all for tuning in to the 38th episode of the Nexus podcast. As usual, I am your host, Adam Eastwood, and this week we have some news, some fun stuff to talk about, maybe something a little off topic, but we're ready to talk. So with me today, we have our Blizzard and esports enthusiast, Ben Blazik.
Good evening, everybody. I'm not gonna do the same intro as I did last time, so let's just cut to it.
We have the one, the only, the amazing Josh Williams.
Round 2, fight!
And making his triumphant return, Brandon. What's going on, man?
Nothing, I'm back, baby.
Yes, we're glad to have you back. No David this week. He had to bow out last minute. He had some people over, so, we are allowed to have lives outside of the Nexus. I do let people do other things. So we're gonna get right into it. Rather than this week, we're gonna talk a little bit more than just our week in gaming, but just our weeks overall. So Ben, why don't you let everyone know what you have been up to?
Just doing a lot of travel still for work. So I was kind of like really tired in my hotel room. Wasn't doing as much gaming, but I was playing a pretty decent amount of Heroes this week, and stuck on all my layovers as well as in airports. I was playing Heroes as well. So just mainly Heroes and not doing really too much else, really.
No, I'm with you. I've been playing a lot of Heroes. I've been getting into a few other games, and it's been like not holding my interest as much. I think that the hero level's actually been helping me be more like I need to hit level 10 with somebody. So, Josh, what have you been doing?
Well, my life is boring, so all I do is work and then play video games. So, you're going to get my weekend gaming, I guess, because there's nothing else going on. I played StarCraft 2 a bunch with my friend Eric, doing 2v2s. We hit... The highest we got to was just second place in gold, which for us was really good, so we were excited about that. And then, since I found out Fable is coming out on PC, the anniversary edition, I started playing... I wanted an action RPG, so I started playing Witcher 2 and Kingdoms of Amalur, and I've of course been playing Heroes of Storm a lot. So that's all I've really been up to.
You mean you've been playing the game that is going to make my state go bankrupt?
What?
Kingdoms of Amalur, the whole Kurt Schilling scandal.
Oh, yeah.
Now I have to pay more in taxes to make up for the fact that they didn't make a successful MMO.
Well, it wasn't an MMO.
It's a bunch of crap.
It wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be. That one wasn't supposed to be.
No, that one
MMO.
wasn't, but they canceled the MMO project. Which,
Yeah, but this was the game that was supposed to make them the money to pay your state back.
Right.
And it didn't.
Yeah.
So you guys got beeped and beeped. That's self-censored.
Brandon, what have you been up to this week?
Been doing some Heroes. Other than that, a lot of WoW PvP with my guild. I'm gonna try to start pushing the threes rating. So, other than that, not much. Just work and stuff. And school started this week, so I'm back there, having to do that stuff for one more year. So,
Oh yeah,
that's about it.
get done with that, and then you can just like podcast for a living. I hear it's very
Exactly.
lucrative out there in the podcast world.
Everybody that podcasts is a millionaires, right?
Exactly. That's
What
why
I
we
hear.
do it, right?
Yep.
My week has been mostly Heroes. Playing a bunch of Heroes, jumping around. I've been playing Tyrande a little bit. Get a kind of a support hero that I can play well enough in order to, do the the quest without really gimping my team. I really liked Seasoned Marksman on a range support. Her basic attacks get up to so much damage, it's not even funny. Like everyone knows, I've been kind of playing Illidan a bunch, and it's hard to get in there with the melee to really get those stacks for Seasoned Marksman, but with the ranged support it's easier, which doesn't make much sense considering she's support, which is kind of weird. Other than that, this week, there was big announcements in the Blizzard world, outside of the Nexus, and that being the cinematic and release date for World of Warcraft. Now, we are all World of Warcraft players. We're that's why we do this. This is why we play Heroes of the Storm, because we get to play the people we only get to, fight beside or fight against. How excited are you about the cinematic? Josh, we'll go with you first.
I absolutely loved it. As we talked about before the show, it creates its own storyline, timeline, whatever. I as you were saying, I'm excited because the events that were supposed to happen did not happen, so I'm excited to see where they go with that. And if anyone, I doubt any of you guys listened to my World of Warcraft podcast, but I totally called a date that it would come out after BlizzCon. Mm-hmm. And it's on recording, so you can hear it.
But what date did you actually pick?
I didn't pick a day. I just said it'd be between BlizzCon and Thanksgiving.
Oh, well, you can't take a lot of credit for that then. I mean, like, anybody could have been said either before.
A lot of people
were
were saying October, though.
Yeah, there was a lot of October on Unmuck Meditation this past Monday. We put in our bets, and I said November 25th, and I was off by 12 days because it will be November 13th. So,
which is weird because that's a Thursday.
Yeah, it makes sense, though. It's like we have BlizzCon, everybody gets home, relaxes for a couple days, the people in the offices get to relax, and then boom.
Oh yeah, I just meant like usually release dates are on a Tuesday, so
that's why my guess was the Tuesday after the 10-year.
Yeah, I was thinking it would have been either the week of or the week before Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Like I thought it was just going to be within that 2-week window sometime.
Mm-hmm. Ben, what were your thoughts on the kind of the event, the cinematic? What did you like about it?
Man, dude, like, just raw, epic. Like, for one, all right, it really captured the brutal savagery of the way the Draenor was that we know from like the stories and all that other stuff. A lot of people know I grew up on Blizzard IPs. Second grade, I was playing Tides of Darkness like crazy. Grew up on that kind of stuff. Was involved in the story. So I am like, when I saw it, it was just absolutely tremendous. Like, I really don't have a lot of words to really explain how excited I was. It's finally capturing, and we're finally going back to the way things are supposed to be. Brutal, savage, chaotic, not this Pandaland crap. I'm going to meditate and hide my feelings and, walk around on water and crap. Like, boo. Okay, that was just a filler. Now we're getting on to the good stuff, all right? So when I saw that, I knew, I was like, I'm definitely now excited for this game again. I just have to survive 3 months until the game comes out and not want to shoot myself in Pandaria.
Well, don't shoot yourself in Pandaria. It'll create some kind of weird suicide shot, and that's going to be the worst thing ever.
We don't want that.
Brandon, what do you think? Anything that you kind of picked up out of cinematic or anything else that really made you like even more excited or less excited about the release?
Man, there are a few things that give me shivers in this world, and that gave me shivers when I watched it. It took me back to like Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3 days, sitting in my house watching my brother and my dad play Warcraft 2 and me attempting to play Warcraft 2. It was just an amazing feeling to get to see, gosh, spoilers, but Grom plunge that axe into Manoroth's head. That was so cool.
I'm pretty sure that's not a spoiler at this point, because he does do it no matter what. It's just, it was meant to be. Anyway. This time, luckily, Garrosh was there to push him out of the way.
Exactly. It was epic. It was the coolest expansion they've done yet. It topped Wrath for me. They did a good job. They did a really good job.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I thought was superbly done is the Lords of War kind of story for Kargath. I liked how they started with kind of the cinematics department. You had Varian and Vindicator Maraude kind of talking, and then they went to that like animated. What is it called? It's like, what is it, like an animated comic book kind of feel, where it's moving but it's not like actual animation for each and every step they're taking. I like that. I can't wait till I wonder how quick we're gonna see all of them. As you know, there's 7 warlords, and they gotta explain all of them. And you know, we're 3 months away, so maybe every other week we're gonna get one. I'm hoping. Just kind of get a little backstory for everyone, with probably finishing up with Gramash probably at BlizzCon. That's my guess. In terms of the cinematic, it was just amazing because you're like, I mean, I guess we all knew he wasn't gonna drink the demon blood. I mean, you knew it. We saw the images and stuff, but it was just awesome to see him not drink the demon blood and just like pour it out. When he poured it out, you're like, yes. And then you're like, can I be a part of that horde? That one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, now, if you're anything besides orc, they won't let you in that horde. They
I
will slaughter you.
I am okay with that. I would
Aren't you a
switch
panda?
to a orc monk.
They won't want a peaceful monk.
Exactly.
I am not
They
a
don't want
peaceful
that
monk.
hippie crap. They want axes, blood, and chaos, and skulls.
And they want savagery, right? Yeah, I think you've made it very clear they want savage. Well, you figure what they wouldn't allow warlocks. They don't like warlocks, and they definitely would have shamans still. I would assume at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah, monks are real peaceful until they kick you in your face.
Warlocks is a different thing in itself, though, because I mean, Gul'dan went off on his own and practiced that kind of crap and had followers. So I mean, that's one thing that can be kind of spun a little bit, but definitely not monks. No.
I have to say, Garrosh did look pretty badass in the cinematic. I thought he looked cool. I really, really liked his model in it.
Mm-hmm. I think they just like upped the cinematics, like in terms of quality. I mean, the Mists of Pandaria one I thought was a jump. If you look at the originals and then you move it up, it's every time it's a increase in just like overall quality of the cinematic, and this one just blows out every other one out of the water. And this is coming from the biggest Chen Stormstout fan out there, possibly, and maybe they should have put Chen in there a little bit. No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to.
I agree.
You could have saw my eyes start rolling.
Place.
So, any final thoughts on kind of World of Warcraft and where it stands right now? You guys ready for the expansion? I think all of you are PvPing right now, as I'm taking a small break.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, PvPing and dailies, so I can have a vast amount of gold when it's time to go to Draenor.
Yeah, just PvPing and making gold. I mean, it's really the only thing that makes sense at this point, because I mean, aside from transmog, even though I personally think all the items in Pandaria look like crap, what purpose does raiding really serve? Because it doesn't. I mean, like, the whole thing about raiding towards the middle to the end of the X-Pack now is kind of lost. Unless for whatever reason you have some divine purpose for progression on your own with a guild, you're getting gear that doesn't mean anything at all and doesn't lead you to the next pieces of content. It just, it's irrelevant as soon as you step through the dark portal.
Well, there's the heirloom weapons. That
nobody cares about those. Nobody cares about those.
I mean, some people just, can have fun without collecting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking.
I'm one of those people, but it's so late in the expansion packs, not even worth starting anymore.
Yeah,
you said, it's just pointless at this point to try to get into anything with that.
The only thing that really serves utility is like new and upcoming guilds that want to build chemistry before stepping into the WoD raids. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I mean, at least for me, not really anything else.
Okay, so I think that means we're going to go ahead and just move right on to the Heroes of the Storm news. There was a little bit this past week. There was a small patch that hit the technical alpha. The most notable thing that from it for me was that they called it a bug fix. However, I feel like it was just a straight nerf where you can no longer get hit by multiple fireballs from Diablo's Firestorm talent when they kind of. That's where you shoot the fireballs out and they come back and they're 150% stronger. You used to be able to like nuke assassins and 3/4 kill other warriors with it. It is kind of funny that they've stated it as a fixed bug rather than an actual nerf. Anybody else kind of been able to play against or play with Diablo and kind of get that feeling that now Diablo's not quite as good as it used to be?
I think that's kind of messed up because it was really hard to do that. Like, actually, if that was a bug, like to be able to pull those the fireballs back and actually be able to hit with them was pretty skillful thing to do. And if they took that out, that's kind of a bummer.
Mm-hmm. You know, I did it a bunch, and I don't know if it was if they should have done it where they just stopped it from being hit by multiple ones, or if they should have brought the damage down, maybe just made it normal damage instead. So if you're able to hit them with like 4 of them, you're getting a bonus because you're able to like move around and stun them and overpower them into place. So it definitely takes it kind of the feeling of like an overpowered Diablo out of there now, because that was like almost a must pick talent, and maybe that's what they wanted to get rid of. Ben, any thoughts about the patch that they tossed out there?
Well, I mean, a couple things, but a lot of them made sense. Like the Garden of Terror stuff. I don't really feel like the Garden of Terror itself was really like overpowered or underpowered. The health reduced by 20%. Wasn't bad. Mercenary camps, as far as being captured at night, I really don't know how I feel about that now. Because I didn't really get to play the map a lot before the patch, this patch at least came out. I maybe rolled the map a total of 2 times the entire time that this map has been out. And then today I randomly got it to roll twice. But that's just me, personally.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me. I got it a couple times before, but I did get it twice today. And I do like the ability to take the camps at night, because what that does is you're not just focused on the garden terror and the little, garden monsters that are out there. You're actually moving, and you have to there's more options available. So, you also don't know where the enemy is, so it makes it a little more difficult. And then all of a sudden you start seeing that they're taking the mercenary camps, so you can kind of feel a little safer because you kind of know where they are at that point. So it's kind of like a mixed bag. Like, some parts it's good, sometimes it's not, because you have too many options. And trying to get if you're in a group, it works really well, because you can talk and say, hey, let's go after this and then that, and then you're kind of a plan. In a random, I think it actually hurts it, because there's more things that the people could be doing wrong that you're playing with.
One thing that I was seeing a lot more is like a heavily increased amount of team fights on this map. Like, I'm seeing more team fights on the garden map than I am on any other map, period. I was playing, which is kind of weird because this never really happens, but I actually got the map twice today. Out of all the games I played, it actually popped up twice, which I've been struggling to get this map to pop up over the past couple weeks. Both times on this map, I played Tychus, I believe. So many team fights, to the point where like they're just zerging back into the fight to keep it one long fight that's lasting like 7 minutes, and they're not like focusing on the lanes at all. And my one worry is that this goes from daytime to nighttime, and now that you can capture mercenary camps, so many people are doing merc pushes, and they're so worried about the monstrosities inside the garden, they're not worrying about the lanes at all. And then they're just like pinging, like, hey, we need you up here, we need you right here, right now, man, to help with this. And yet, if you look at the top and the bottom lane, they're getting pushed all the way in, and we're losing our defensive foothold or at least those pieces of the map. And it's like, this is getting a little ridiculous.
So the lanes aren't making that much of a difference in that map.
From what I'm seeing, it's nothing but like, let's capture all the mercenaries day and night, which, I mean, all the other maps are, capture the mercs as much. But the one map that I feel like has a good balance of mercs is Blackheart's Bay, because there's not as many to choose from. You still have a good amount of them, but they're not like cramming down your throat every second. In the garden map, I feel like the mercs are down your throat everywhere you turn, and everybody's focused on fighting near either the center top or the center bottom, so that way like we're near the bigger monstrosities that drop all the seeds, and nobody cares about the other pieces of the lanes where all our forts are getting pushed in and stuff like that. And the next thing you know, if you lose a team fight and you look at it, oh man, they're at our core already. Mm-hmm. Wow, yeah. How did that happen? Gee, maybe because you forgot to play the lane game.
Yeah, to be honest, I really liked the the longevity of that map, how long it lasted. It was lasting like 25 to 30 minutes, which I felt was a good time. And from what you're saying, it seems like it's going a whole lot quicker right now.
Well, the last game that I played on it went to about 32 minutes. It almost
Okay.
broke 33 minutes. It was a long game, but it was just nothing but literally like several minute long team fights. Normally like a team fight might last 45 seconds or so. I'm talking these team fights were going over like 3 to 4 minutes long because they're going back and forth, they're poking at each other, they're stunning each other, Kerrigan's pulling someone in or Zagar is thrown down the mall, and people are just coming back up in time to keep running back into each other. And it's just nobody, at least from what I saw, nobody at any point in time was like, okay, we need to back away from this and actually be productive at something.
Mhm.
We're literally sitting in a team fight for 6 minutes, going back and forth as people respawn, and the lanes are just doing their own thing. And then finally someone gets smart, and I think it was Zagara was getting smart and running around and doing merc camps while my team is still engaging 4 people and just continuously zerging while we're letting the enemy team get merc camps. And I was like, you guys have got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing, especially that early in the game, because the first night cycle is, 30 seconds to a minute into the game. You run into the problem that the respawn times are so quick that you're almost better off dying and then respawning and coming back than even going back and healing. Because there's so little XP that can be gained from death that early in the game. So it's, like you said, it lasts 6 minutes. I don't like when the maps turn into giant team battles right off the start. I like the laning phase. I kind of like that you start laning, grab a couple mercs, then you move into really pushing the mercs and the objectives, and then the team fights come. When the battles start right off the bat, it's kind of frustrating. I almost think they need to push the initial night phase back maybe another minute to make it more interesting in those regards, because team fights don't mean anything early game.
I definitely agree that the night phase should be pushed back, and that was one thing I loved about this game was like how it had to come together for team fights a lot. But now there is such a thing as too much, and I feel like the garden map helps provoke too much. But I mean, it's just its current iteration right now. So
They do call it a hero brawler after all.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
So I mean,
Well, I mean,
if you want that lane phase, Adam, and all that, I mean, there's other games out there that will gladly give it to you. But this
okay.
is a hero brawler.
To
But
rebuttal,
it's-
then why do we have lanes to begin with?
Yeah, exactly.
Why not just put us in an arena? They're like
They can-
Diablo 3 original PvP was supposed to be.
Yeah, they can
They
call
still
this
can.
game whatever they want to call it. It's still at its base and its core a MOBA. And if they want to have lanes like that, they need to make use of them.
And I'm going to rebuttal saying that, yes, they call it a hero brawler. However, I can brawl one-on-one just fine in the lane. And I think that's going to be there and prevalent no matter what, because in, say, League of Legends, the laning phase is just killing mercenaries, getting last hits, and because we aren't technically getting last hits, it becomes a hero brawler because you are going after the other hero more often than making sure you get last hits. If that
And
makes sense.
to be honest, I think the laning phase is pretty important. It gives you that time to build up and figure out what's going on, and then start the team fights. And it gives the game a little bit more depth in that direction. If it was just team fights the whole time, then that just gets old. It's not interesting anymore. So that's my opinion on that.
It becomes Bloodline champions at that point.
Except Blizzard's making it, so it'll be good.
I have played Bloodline Champions, so I
did
agree
too.
with you.
He didn't sound too happy about that. I played Bloodline Champions.
I've spent money on it, and then it wasn't really that good. So, any free-to-play game, you're like, man, I paid money, and now I'm never going to play it again.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
just
how I
hope
feel
that
about.
that's not how you're going to feel about Heroes.
No,
'Cause
I've been playing it since
I know
March.
you dropped a lot of money
Invested.
because I dropped a lot of money, but
I
So
dropped a lot of
I-
money.
And,
I think it's safe to say we all dropped at least like over $150 on this game.
David's
already.
not here.
Easily.
I was going to say, we
David's
also,
not here.
none of us have hit the cap yet, where I saw a forum post where the person's like, how can I increase my cap? I'm like, well, just calm down. The game's not out yet.
Calm
You'll be
down.
good.
Put on e-brake, buddy.
In the patch, we also saw that the universe-specific daily quest came back. So you play 2 games with a Diablo, StarCraft, or Warcraft hero.
I like those.
I like them too.
I was like, why did we get rid of it?
Yeah, you know what? you know what that does is it really lets you kind of tag team quests together, because you could have 2 StarCraft and 2 support. I was playing Tassadar, so I got it done. I got 2 done, which was really cool. What also was weird is I thought you could only hold 3 quests, and I got up to 3 quests, and I couldn't play for like a day or so, or I just didn't do the quests. And as soon as I got 2 done, 2 more came and filled its place. So
cool.
Ooh,
I
very nice.
wonder if there's like you can store so many up that'll kind of cover if you miss 1 or 2. I kind of want to test it and kind of see.
Definitely.
And then last, kind of for this patch at the shop, we finally have Frost Room Arthas and Big Top Gazlo. So now people are constantly creeping me out on the battlefield. And
I'm seeing Gazlo a lot.
I
Yeah.
thought about sending you a screenshot the other day, and then I was like,
it's kind of creeping. They're creeping me out. I don't like it.
We're gonna have to force you to sit down and watch Stephen King's It when we go to BlizzCon.
You know what's funny? Actually, I've been spending a lot of time on the forums, and somebody else on the forums actually pointed out that what they missed with Big Top Gazlo was changing the turrets around a little bit, making them fit the skin. And I agreed with that as well.
Making them throw pies.
They
And
should make
stuff.
them little clown heads.
Little clown heads. You know,
more clowns.
no.
Speaking of it, I didn't watch it, but I wanted to send it to you. Someone made a it trailer as to see if it was as if it was a family movie.
You know,
I didn't watch it, but I was thinking about it, and then I was like, I should watch it and send it to Adam.
no, don't send it to me.
Do it.
I'm not cool with that.
Now with that Frostworm Arthas, I was trying it out. I want to get it, but his cloak, his cape, like bugs me because it looks like it should be wings,
Yeah.
and they don't move like wings, and that animation bugs me on his cloak. So I haven't bought it yet because of that.
Yeah, like I said, I still feel as though that should be the heroic master skin for Arthas instead of what they have out there.
Yeah, the current one is not really doing too much justice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm planning on working some people up to get the master skins, and Illidan and Diablo are going to be my first 2 master skins. I have enough gold. I just need. It's a grind once you get to level 9 and 10. It is a lot of
man.
XP needed.
My roommate last weekend unlocked Valas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it looks so awesome.
That's sick.
Yeah, she got a
That one
couple
looks really
changes
good.
with this patch as well. Nothing too big, a little less damage, but I still think she does way too much damage in the long run.
She's so strong.
Yeah. So we're gonna kind of move on to the next bit of news, and last week we talked that the Penny Arcade Expo PAX Prime was gonna get the 3 new heroes that they're gonna play with, and it looks like they brought it to Gamescom, and there's some excitement I know on Ben's part about one of the heroes, at least. Why don't you be the one that can give the news about the hero you're looking forward to, Ben?
Well, actually, it's 2 specifically, and I'm really glad they threw wild cards out there now. And I say this in regards to one of them specifically, which I'm actually really excited to play, is Asmodan. We're getting Asmodan, and from the looks of it, he looks like he's either going to be. Well, I know
He is
they're
a
not going to
specialist.
change. Yeah.
There was an interview that put him out as a specialist. So
I was kind of hoping that
dang.
they were going to like start to add different types of categories and talk about that with these new heroes, but we're not there yet, so we'll see what happens. But he is going to be a specialist, but it looks like he can do a lot of damage as a specialist, not just like your support siege specialist, but someone who can definitely be viable in team fights. And I absolutely love the fact that he was such a random wild card. We knew Chen was coming. Like, anybody who guessed Chen, okay, you're not going to win $1 million. Everybody else did it too. So we knew Chen was coming, but nobody had the slightest clue that Asmodan was going to come in. We had, we knew he was in the engine. We just had no idea at what point. Everybody's like, it's either going to be Kael'thas or, Sylvanas. And, of course, we all knew I was hoping for Cho'Gall, but yet to be seen. And then we also had some talk about, our second hero that's coming, anub'arak, which I'm really excited for. We had some idea that he might be popping up because he keeps showing up in the trailers more and more, and they won't talk about him. But as far as throwing Asmodan in the mix, I like jumped out of my chair. I was like, that is awesome. Only if we would have got rid of Chen Stormstout would it have been even better. But no, that was extremely awesome. We threw such a wild card like that into the mix, and I'm extremely happy Blizzard did that.
All right. So I have a question. So, if you guys follow the Flair, she's one of the community managers for
Mhm.
Heroes of the Storm. She put out that picture of Asmodean, and at the top it said Ranged Warrior.
Now I gotta go back and look at this.
And also at the bottom of the screen, where the tabs are for play, shop, and other stuff, there was a watch one that
Yes.
was
I
golden.
was gonna bring that up once we talked about the heroes a little bit, because now you're also looking, Chen Stormstout's on there, and whatever Ben says, don't listen to him. We want Chen in the game as soon as possible.
He's the coolest monk in the game. I
Yes.
completely agree.
And
Yep.
the cool thing is now that we're gonna see 2 warriors and 1 specialist kind of come in there. I thought we were gonna kind of get away from the specialists, seeing as though we've gotten Zagara, we've gotten Murky, they've kind of added specialists, they've Asmodean, and I really like the kind of the watching the gameplay and seeing his kit because it's almost like right out of Diablo 3. He's gonna have the black pools, he's gonna have the laser beam, he's gonna call army of demons because he's a Hell's general basically. I'm really excited over that. Josh, which hero are you most excited of these 3?
Anub'arak.
Anub'arak.
Out of all 3. Asmodon does look really fun too, but Anub'arak looks like my type of hero where he like pokes in and causes chaos and then leaves again with his little burrower, and then he can crowd control with the webbing, and he just seems like he has a lot of utility to him. He seems like he's gonna be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that burrow looked really cool. He was able to burrow under like obstacles. I think that's gonna be interesting in terms of just gameplay, because now if you're not just worrying about Tyrael and Illidan being able to like charge in from long distance, not just worry about Nova and Zeratul being invisible, but now you have to watch the ground as well to see if someone's coming up from underneath.
I mean, not only is he going to be like a strong initiator, but he's going to be a strong interceptor because he can do that and then web somebody trying to run away, and then your team can just pile on top of him.
Yeah, no.
And then he has the AoE bugs, and just I'm excited to see what his ultimates are going to be.
No, it's
Yeah.
very exciting. It's just almost
Definitely.
out of, what is it? The Old Kingdom is the where we saw him first. The Old Kingdom.
Wasn't he in Nax first?
No,
I mean, like the original Nax?
That's a Nub'arak.
That's Nub'arak.
Oh, that's right. I always get those names confused
Yeah.
of who they are. But yeah, he was in that Old Kingdoms.
So, like I was saying, in terms of like just numbers of like specialists, supports, assassins, now we're actually all of them are within 1 or 2 of each other with just pure numbers. Because now, I think it's something like 7 specialists, 7 support. It'll be 8 assassins and 9 warriors, or something like that. I was like looking up the numbers earlier today. So it's cool that they're all catching up to each other, kind of keeping a nice even distribution. I wonder if that we'll know eventually what they're coming out with next based on what they're missing, which is cool.
I just wish the one hero I really, really, really want right now is Sylvanas. She needs to be in the game. I want to play this range because she's a Banshee Queen too, so they're going to combine those 2 things with her, the Ranger and the Banshee-ness of her for her ultimate. I'm like, I just need to add her already.
Well,
So, back to the cinematic real quick. How excited does that make you guys for having like Grommash, Hellscream, and Gul'dan, and Grommash, and Garrosh Hellscream in the game?
I think I'm excited. I mean, I want them to do like a Grommash hero, and then at BlizzCon be like, if you go to BlizzCon, you get Grommash.
That'd be
They
sick,
wouldn't
yeah.
do that. They wouldn't give away one hero for that.
Why not?
Why?
They gave Vala
Same
for
thing as-
pre-ordering the D3.
Yeah.
For free though, but I mean, if you're talking about they give it to you for free, but you can still buy it.
Right.
Yeah,
Everyone
okay.
still
I thought
can
you
get
meant,
it,
like-
but you get it for free if you get BlizzCon with the virtual
okay.
ticket.
I thought you meant if you go to the BlizzCon, only you can get it, and no one
No.
else can even
No,
buy
no,
it.
no, no, no. I mean,
Okay.
you just get it, and then everybody else kind of can buy it if they
Okay,
want.
yeah, I agree with that. I like that idea too.
I
Or
really
they can just
want
give us
them-
all the heroes. That works too.
I really want them to release a Gul'dan version of the Patrick Adair who played in our contest. For the Warlock version that he submitted, that would be absolutely
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, wow, that was a while ago now, huh? I
Yeah.
was just thinking about that. So now we did get some images. We got to see a little bit of each of these guys' kits, a little bit of their talents, but kind of throwing on my tinfoil hat. and making wild speculations based on screenshots. I'm going to say we might be getting some kind of a test on the, what do you call it, the spectator mode, because watch is actually clickable and community is there as well. It's not just saying not in beta. Did you guys notice that in the screenshot? I guess Brandon did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that maybe they're going to start testing out a couple more features in the upcoming game. Who knows? In the screenshot as well, if you kind of go over to the website, you can see them. The invite is a little different than it used to be. It's not up in the right-hand corner. It's actually up in the center. I think what you're saying, ranged warrior, where it says auto-select ranged warrior, I think that's just like your preference. If you go into the game, you'll just auto-select a ranged warrior. It made me think. I forgot about that until you mentioned it. So
yeah, I really hope that they break down those classes more, because right now I feel like we need more than just warrior, specialist, and whatever else we have right now, assassin.
They need to do like a giant like promotional thing where they bring out a new class and they'll call it a mage, and at that point they'll give us Kael'thas, Cho'Gall, and like Jaina Proudmoore all at the same time.
And for Ben, I told him this on Twitter, is as soon as Chen Stormstout is in the game, our Twitter icon will be a Cho'Gall, the Nexus icon, because that'll be who we're hoping for next. So
yeah,
make it happen so we can change our icon.
Yes.
All right. So for Gramash Hellscream, his item set, or not his item set, his skill set. What are you guys thinking?
So one of them should be that he throws Gorehowl, and it like can hit somebody, and then like after like a couple seconds it disappears off the ground or something. I don't want to make it like he goes and picks it up because it's going to sound too much like Olaf from League of Legends, but I definitely think he should throw Gorehowl.
So what I want, and I know that they shouldn't be copying skill sets, but I basically want him to do what Darius does.
Yeah, you were telling me that you want like a Darius.
Yep.
Okay. Any final thoughts on the new heroes? I know, Ben, you're disappointed Chen's there and not Cho'Gall. Josh wanted Sylvanas.
But at the same time, I'm happy that they're giving us anub'arak, because that was another guy that I was waiting for. And Asmodan, the wild card, like
I love that.
That was incredible. So bravo, my hat's off to you, Blizzard.
Completely unexpected. I like that. Keep it on.
Which, real quick with these new heroes, what's your guess on who's going to be first?
So, I'm making a crazy speculation, and I hope it happens this way. I really hope that they do like they did at PAX with Brightwing and Lily and just put them all in the game together, because there's obviously playable versions of them. So just give us all three of them. Change the game up completely. 3 new people to try out.
I mean, that would be an incredible like publicity stunt by itself for the alpha, for people who are not playing the alpha, who are like, oh, I already played it, now I'm just waiting for beta version. Oh yeah, well, let's drop 3 new heroes at the same time and see how you feel, because now you definitely don't want to come back and play it.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
But Chen,
sure.
If they do go in order, it'll be Chen, anub'arak, Asmodan.
I can see that as the order.
Chen's going to be the very last hero just because you want it so bad.
No, they're going to want to like upset me, so they're going to like throw him in first.
Okay, so we're kind of moving into kind of a news segment that we don't really have because there hasn't been much news. Ben's going to kind of take the lead on this. It's going to be kind of what's going on with kind of the esports for Heroes of the Storm. So Ben, what's been going on? What news do we have?
All right, so seeing how I guess I was originally brought into the esports guy, now we're finally going to talk about esports. A couple different things. This is not like really new news, but it has been requested by a few people to talk about on the show. Curse has their first Heroes of the Storm team, which is like their official team. If anybody else knows these names, lineup with Sneaky, Sev, Grim, Fury, and Gazwaz. It's kind of a unique story in itself, which I'll give them props, number one, for at least trying to spearhead this. Like, hey, we all should be excited about Heroes Esports, because I mean, even though they've been talking at Blizzard or BlizzCon and different interviews that they want to see what the community is going to do with it, it's pretty much a given that the community, at least some portion of it, is going to want esports out of it. And seeing how it's already set up from the ground to be an esports type of game where we're going to have spectator mode, we're going to be able to go in and play other teams. Once custom games comes back in, and the fact that they're going to be releasing the engine tools, which will allow us to do things on our own. I mean, it's a given that it's going to be an esport in some type of manner. So I mean, it's good that they're hitting that off from the beginning. It may be a little early. However, this kind of bleeds into what we were talking about a minute ago as far as we were pointing out things in that picture, new features that are going to be coming that hopefully we're going to test. One of them being the watch button. So it's going to spill into the next thing we're going to talk about, but maybe there's something that we don't know that the esports community itself, people who've got money and, people part of like Team Liquid and all of them, they might know before we do as podcasters. One thing that I didn't like that they did was that they labeled each person's role, which, every person on the team should have a role. That makes perfect sense. You've got support, who's your captain of the team. Sneaky's going to be on the support. We already have support roles, so that makes sense. You've got, Fury as your tank, which warriors are kind of like your tanks, and you can definitely beef them up like that. So that still makes sense. Gazwaz as your utility. A lot of your specialists are your utility, and even some support champions are still utility. So that in itself makes sense. There's two more classifications that don't make sense because we have no actual classification, and there's only a couple heroes that fall under the first one, which is carry. Seb's going to be playing a carry role. Now, there's no real definition of carry right now in heroes, and there are certain champions or heroes you could argue that are carry roles like Vala and Nova, but sort of like Nova still plays as she's labeled as an assassin. She can cloak, go around the map, and take pop shots. So she can definitely go in and assassinate. It fits that title. Zeratul, definitely, he could be argued as a carry, but he still plays as his intended title, an assassin. He cloaks, he goes in, he can jump on somebody and nuke him down. It really depends on the hero because sometimes he's not going to be able to do the entire hero's health. He really wants to prey on heroes that are maybe like half health or, low from taking a merc camp and stuff like that. So you don't have a full carry setup. Vala could play in that role. She does really good DPS and she's squishy. So it kind of makes sense, but we don't have like official labels for that. And then of course you have your mage. This one says mage and support, which is going to be Grim. So he's going to be going back and forth. We don't have mages in the game yet. We don't even have a classification for it. The closest thing to a mage that we're going to see is Asmodan and maybe Tassadar a little bit now that they've changed him and they gave him Psystorm. But there's no real classification for mage, and none of the heroes fully play like a mage should. And a mage should definitely be somebody who has an extremely hard-hitting spell, which, is definitely going to have a longer cooldown, some type of crowd control effect, which is going to maybe be like a Frost Nova or something like that. And then, maybe like a minor DPS spell or some type of escape mechanic. No classes really fully have that right now, so we don't have a mage, and I don't really like how they classified it that way, but I'll give them props for trying to step up and do something like that. But it's still really early to tell, which kind of leads me to the question: is there something that we don't know that these guys know?
When you talk about the classification of mage, like you said, there's no one in there that fits the role really. A mage is someone who relies mostly on the spells that they cast and not on auto attack. And I feel like every hero in Heroes of Storm right now, auto attacking is prevalent. They're not by default casting a fireball or doing something like that. So I agree with you 100%. This mage classification, something is up. Something needs to be done about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll build as we get more heroes into the game. We'll start branching out into those classifications. We'll probably get more classifications. I hope we get more classifications because right now it's a little bit stale. And
one of the things with classifications I feel like they could do is they could still keep the 4 specialist, warrior, assassin, support, but you have ranged and melee, and then you could have like a mage warrior, they might call it a mage. So like they don't have to get rid of the 4 because I think they're pretty much stuck to those 4. But you could definitely
add subclasses.
Well, yeah. Mage support,
so in
mage, stuff like that.
In that screenshot, it says ranged warrior. So I know they said he was a specialist, but could that be a gateway, that screenshot, into what we might see in the future?
Yeah, I mean, right now I can't think of anyone who would fall under a ranged warrior, unless I'm just crazy. Can you guys think of
No,
one?
not really right now. No.
I guess that kind of invites the question, though. So we don't right now have exact classifications of tanks, but we are referring to a lot of warriors as tanks. Like Stitches can be built as a tank with high utility. Diablo can be built as a tank with high utility. Arthas can be built as a tank. But where really, how are we going to see the viability of a ranged warrior? I mean, because what's going to make him a ranged warrior? The fact that he's
Um,
going to do nuking spells and he's going to be unkillable?
Right.
well, I wouldn't say unkillable. I'd say a little bit more tanky. Probably a little bit closer in his attack range. So not Nova range, but yeah, probably in the middle there is what I'd say.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
You know, the other thing kind of, like a Crusader. You know, they kind of have that mid-range attack, but at the same time, they're still tanky kind of in terms of like Diablo. That's maybe what I would figure is a ranged warrior. If I had to pick one specific something in Blizzard at this point.
Okay.
And Ben, there was another little news thing that you also had kind of want to talk about?
So this kind of bleeds over into the next part, and it also backtracks a little bit to the screenshot we were talking about, where we're seeing new features maybe on the horizon to test. On a post on Team Liquid, there's a league, ESV, that's putting together a championship series. It's going to be in total 8 teams. They've already picked 6, and then they have another 2 to pick as well. This kind of raises the question, though. It's supposed now. Granted, week 1 is subject. It does have the label subject to change. It's going to go on a weekly basis. 2 different brackets, 4 teams in each bracket. And you'll play everybody in your bracket. One thing is though, it's set to start at least by this one. And this is a fairly recent post. It was done as of 3 days ago, so August 12th. Week 1, August 25th on a Monday. Well, we don't have custom games, so how are you going to play week 1? So, are there a bunch of people inside the community that know more than we do at this point? Which, I mean, granted, it's extremely possible, but
No, yeah, definitely.
I mean, how much do these people know that we don't? You know, because they've already got day 1 and day 2 lined up as Monday and Tuesday, 10 p.m. UTC, for starting the brackets for all the teams. Going down the team lineup, we've got Tempest, formerly known as Tempest Black. We have Wildfire. Let's see here. Glorious Gaming, which is going to have ZPs. If anybody knows ZP's TV, he's probably the most popular Heroes of the Storm streamer right now. Definitely gets notoriety from Blizzard. We've got Team Snowflake, which will have Idra on it as well, and the players that Idra's been playing with. Let's see, Symbiote Gaming, which is supposedly known as one of the most deadly teams right now in Heroes. However, we don't have a custom system, at least the builds that we're playing on, unless there's an alpha build that all these professionals have that we don't have. There's no custom matchmaking for us to actually challenge other teams. So to really put out there that they're the strongest team in the alpha, I feel like it's kind of a false title, just because there's no way of knowing that. We've had no real competitions yet, and this will be one of the first. So that's yet to be seen. And then the last one is Descent, which has a few other couple known players as well. And that's the 6 teams they've picked, and then they have 2 more teams that they have to pull out for the final 8.
You know, what this has kind of got me thinking, it's just because I know right now there is some people that they're able to do a matchup where you pick 5, pick and bans, all that fun stuff that they do out of game, and then in game they just pick and go, and they hope that each of you get teamed up against them because you're both 5-man teams. The only problem I see with that is if they've got to have something else, because if they're doing this where they're hoping to go head to head, you run the problem that they're going to get into a game with people, basically purposely lose the match just to get it over with so they can then try again. And that is just going to kind of ruin matchmaking for some people, I think, out there right now. So there's got to be something that they're going to be able to do that we can't do right now in order to make this even viable.
I feel like from a professional standpoint, that would be a horrendously bad thing to do for a league, would be to just, let's hope we do it.
Yep.
And yeah, no, absolutely not.
Especially
I think they got some. I think they got some insider information. I think we're about to next couple months up to BlizzCon is about to. we're about to get a lot of stuff. So
You guys really think that Blizzard will tell these guys that they're going to come out with a custom mode by now? I honestly don't see that.
if
Blizzard
they're the
telling
base
them.
of their professional play, then absolutely.
I mean,
yes.
it is
I
Team
don't see
Liquid
that.
though. I mean,
I still don't see Blizzard coming out and telling just them. With how open they've been about everything, I don't see them just saying, "Hey guys, we're going to come out with this. Just give you a heads up."
now
I don't think Blizzard will do that.
while the schedule is subject to change, it's supposed to start in 2 weeks. Actually, no, less than
Subject to change.
10
Still.
days.
Subject to change, and they posted it as of 3 days ago. So I mean, me personally, if I was the tournament organizer and I was on their media team, I wouldn't be making a post like this
Unless
with
you knew
a
something.
date so close unless I knew something. So I mean, granted, we're spinning the
And-
speculation machine here, but
The only thing I can't see Blizzard personally reaching out to them. The only thing I can see is if they know somebody on the inside and they told them when they weren't supposed to. That would be the only thing I can see.
That's definitely possible, but
Someone
We
leaked
can-
it
we
to
can
them that
think
wasn't
that-
officially supposed to.
we can
Well-
think that Blizzard is all open about all this stuff, and it's all we know everything, and that's absolutely not true. They have their secrets, and they have people that tell other people and leak stuff to the public. So
I mean,
Yeah,
let's-
but do you really think Blizzard's, they have their secrets? Do you really think they're going to tell it to Team Liquid?
if it's
Why
a
not?
professional
They're-
team, yeah,
They're one of the most popular StarCraft sites ever, and they've been around for an extremely long amount of time. And let's go back to the SC2 beta. When the SC2 beta was about to hit, you had all those pro players. They had a list of pro players they were going to send beta invites out to that night. And then, look at Artosis. Artosis knew people at Blizzard, and, he was like, hey, I need to get into this as much as possible, because, I need to play this as much as possible, and I'm trying to be a caster out here in Korea. And, it was like, 2 o'clock in the morning when he woke up, and he, just randomly had that feeling, and he checked his phone, and there was an email there from Blizzard. I mean, yeah, being Team Liquid, absolutely.
especially
I
with
don't-
Curse. Curse
I
is
don't see that.
Curse
I
is
don't
a
see it.
ginormous team. Not only do they have the Curse company behind them that has wrap-ins with Blizzard, because they do a lot of stuff for Blizzard. I definitely think it's possible that they're not only do they know stuff, but they're testing stuff in-house like that. So
I think something would have already leaked from one of the guys in there. Honestly,
If they signed an NDA, I mean, for me,
Well,
for example,
leaks regardless happen anyways.
They
Have
do,
NDAs.
but if anything can happen back, somebody doesn't want to get sued. I mean, I have NDAs for where I work, and so
Well,
if
yours
I,
is national security.
it doesn't matter. Even a year after I leave my project, my NDA is still in effect, and if anything whatsoever, just even the slightest thing were to get traced back to me, I mean, I'm gonna get sued.
You would get sued. You would get probably death threats.
So I mean,
yeah, and it's the same thing with Blizzard. There's a lot of money tied up in there, and you don't want to leak Blizzard secrets. That's for sure.
and it's and I mean also, so it's pretty realistic, sorry, that people outside of Blizzard are testing different builds than we are. I mean, that's reality. We just need to accept it, because that's what's been going on for years with Blizzard. We are members of the press. We're podcasters, okay? We're not, and I'm not trying to slam us down. We're not professional players with a professional franchise sitting behind us, like Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid and all of them that have money and sponsors wrapped up and doing things on an esports level. So we are an entirely different threshold of testing than people like that are. Those people, and I'm not trying to say they matter more, but they kind of matter more.
Yeah, exactly. They're the ones that have the streams that will build the base of the community. We are doing a podcast builds part of a community, but if you want a professional game that's being played at a professional level, you're gonna have a community base from the professionals. So yeah.
And one thing to touch on that, I mean, let's go back to the last Q&A that we had with the devs. When they were doing the community questions, they recognized ZP's TV and instantly was like, hey, we know this guy. He's a streamer. He's been streaming a lot of Heroes. Thank you so much for that. Keep doing what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. They recognized that he was going to be playing on a team. When one of us submitted questions and they got read, I don't remember which episode it was on, but one of our questions, was it either Adam or David?
Yeah.
It's David. They didn't recognize him as a member of the Nexus podcast. Like,
That's relevant to what I'm saying though, about being recognized. Day
so-
9's recognized, but it doesn't mean that he's going to get into these top secret NDA matches and stuff like that.
you really would.
So
I mean, it's
here's
possible. Here's the thing: it's possible, but none of us have proof that it's actually
We-
happened.
we
So we
don't.
cannot say it's a fact.
We're
We
not
don't.
saying it's a fact. We're purely speculating on it. But I mean, it's pretty realistic to assume. Not saying for 100%. It's pretty realistic to assume that that's what's going on.
Well, you know what happens when you assume, right?
I don't know, man. Sometimes the
So-
chips are up.
So we're gonna kind of side table this. I'm gonna make one comment and then we'll move on just in terms of time. The only thing that I would say is that when, for example, we started to get our emails for the Tech Alpha, we knew a little bit before they made the announcement about the Tech Alpha that the Tech Alpha was going to be happening, because they didn't say, hey, you're getting in the Tech Alpha. They said to us, hey, can we get your battle.net emails for you and your show? And then a week or two later is when the Tech Alpha came. So it could be something similar to that, where they're like, hey guys, just so you know, we're looking at this and we want you to lead the charge.
Yeah.
And because I didn't go out and say, hey guys, I didn't come on the podcast and be like, hey, I just had a Blizzard CM tell me that they wanted my battle.net address because I might be getting into the Tech Alpha. I stayed quiet on that because I didn't want to ruin it, So
Yep, exactly.
I can see it from both sides.
I guess I can see that them telling him, we're planning on rolling it out soon.
Yeah,
if you
so-
guys want to start getting this ready,
And
but
that's
I
what
won't.
we're referring to as insider information, because it still technically is a piece of insider information.
Right. We knew,
Yep.
even though we're not, professionals, we do this for fun. We knew a little bit. We knew that a Tech Alpha was coming within the next couple of weeks, because they weren't going to reach out to us saying, hey, we need email addresses now if you want to get into it. Type of
I don't know about you, but when this show's over, we're gonna have practice, dude.
Yes,
So-
I'm going to be playing after this. So we're going to just move into a quick from the forums, where I kind of pulled from the forums one thing. We're going to skip the discussion this week. I know it shows it over here on the side, but we're running a little long, and that discussion might even be
Hey.
better in the future.
There's nothing wrong with an hour and a half long show.
No,
That's the optimal time.
however, there might be a dead week, and this discussion could be 45 minutes to an hour long on its own. So
I hope it is.
yeah, and especially once we start seeing, if we're going to see these esports going on, it might be a thing to do right beforehand. So from the forums, basically this week I was kind of trolling around the forums, looking around, and I happened across this one it's Rory, RWRY, talking about in-game random spawn items. So basically said it'd be cool if sometimes you would get a random box to boost your stat. Going around Dragon Shrine, you find a treasure box that spawns in the moon statue, and boom, you're a little bit stronger. I don't think it fits with the current battlegrounds, personally. I think there could be a really good battleground that's built around this idea, where the objectives are to get these boxes and become stronger in those regards. What do you guys think in terms of random things kind of spawning, giving you bonuses, things like that?
I think the idea of a battleground is not a bad idea, but that is like a really, really controversial topic, especially if we're going to the esports thing now. So let's just hypothetically, I'm Uther running around and I smash a crate, and all of a sudden it makes my Holy Radiance instant cast with no cooldown for the next 30 seconds, and all of a sudden I'm a machine gun of Holy Radiance,
Yeah.
So
I think if you the backfire that you saw in our artifacts would increase by 100% for this. People would be so unhappy with it, I think, unless it was just, it wouldn't be able to be played at a ranked level, I don't think.
What if they balanced it? I mean, you could have some boxes that are closer to your base that give you small bonuses, and as you get close to the middle and you have to fight over them, they're a little bit stronger. It's kind of like
those are basically mercs, if you think about it, because you get the pushing power from mercs, and you have them on each side of the map, and you kill them, and you get XP, and you get a buff, or not a buff, but you get pushing power in that lane.
Like we used to get the buff from the mage,
Yeah,
which I wish they didn't get rid of. I kind of like that. They made the knights
Yeah,
a little
me
bit
too.
stronger, a little more worth it. Not that they're not worth it now, but I kind of like a little added bonus. Josh, what are your thoughts on this?
It has its advantage and disadvantage. Like you said, it can get out of balance pretty fast, depending on how they do it. It's kind of a cool idea, but they would have to really fine tune it and tweak it to make it, to not make it go unbalanced easily.
Yeah, definitely.
It can't. Yeah, a lot of stuff can't spawn fast, and maybe if more than one thing does spawn, someone can't pick up 2 items to get the double buffs and stuff like that. But they do have something similar to in Dota too. They have items you can pick up if your whole team's around. You can get like little speed boosts and stuff like that. But they would have to fine tune it and tweak it pretty well to make it not unbalanced if you don't get it, but give you a slight advantage.
Yeah.
If it's like exterior changes, and by that I mean like maybe like a fire aura or like a shield or like a small speed boost, should not be anything that affects the actual skills. Like if it makes my grenade have no cooldown on Tychus, then that is clearly broken. Stuff. Have you blown people all across the map like crazy?
Crazy.
But it would be fun, something like that.
It would be a nice little kick
Not for
like
the other
one
team.
match, but somebody would get so mad.
Where this would work is League of Legends has been putting out these different game modes every months, and that kind of stuff would work in that type of a game mode, I think. So yeah, definitely.
Almost like they do ARAMs. It'd almost be like just a separate, just for fun game mode. No rank, no nothing.
Dude, man, I don't know. Some people take ARAM so seriously.
Oh no, yeah, I know.
Somebody always takes that game seriously. Doesn't matter what kind of match you're in.
That community.
Oh man,
it's all right. It may be a rough community, but it's a great community. They really support their games. So.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think Riot supports their game better than anybody else out there. Even Blizzard, they support their games great, and they do an awesome job. But Riot they've just went behind League of Legends and ran with it. I mean, they run the premier league for their game, which Blizzard doesn't. They rely on the community. Riot's like, oh, well, you have all this extra money from people buying skins. Why don't we just make this the prize money and pay people to play the game for people to watch?
You're off the podcast.
And I think if
I don't know if you can do that. I have all the back catalog and everything. I have all the passwords.
I think if we see this game succeed, I think we will get an LCS from Blizzard.
Oh yeah.
I think we'll see that, and that'll grow and become bigger. I hope. I really hope.
Okay, I think that's gonna do it for our show tonight. I want to thank you guys for coming, everyone for listening. Ben, why don't you go ahead and let people know where they can kind of get a hold of you?
So, as per normal, you can get a hold of me on Twitter at Stacks and Packs. STAKSNPAKS. Just hit me up there anytime if you want to play Heroes, need my battle tag, anything like that. Other than that, I pretty much linger here on Friday nights picking fights with my co-hosts and just doing my thing.
Josh, what have you been up to? How's your podcast doing? Let people know where they can find that and download it.
My podcast is a World of Warcraft one. It's the laststandradio.com, and we'll be recording tomorrow. We usually record Saturday nights. And then you can find me at Twitter at Pakawan_AIE, PAKKUAN_AIE. And
Brandon, where can people get a hold of you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at TriumphWow. That's Triumph with a WOW at the end. You can follow me and DM me for battle tag information, and you can find me in the Nexus playing with these guys.
And you can reach me directly at Geek of Random on Twitter. want to thank everyone who's been following me and I've been kind of talking over the past couple of weeks. The show you can follow at the Nexus Podcast. And if you have any questions for anybody on the show, they can be personal questions about Ben and Josh. I don't mind answering those. Send them to show@heroesofthenexus.com. We love to get some emails from time to time. Leave any 5-star reviews or 4-star reviews, and we'll read them on the air over on iTunes or Stitcher or the Windows Marketplace. And if you're listening to the podcast, go ahead and come and spend time with us in the chat room on Friday nights at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/Heroes of the Nexus. We are proud members of the Catalyst Gaming Media. We can find writers, bloggers, I guess which are the same thing, podcasts, just a large number of awesome content creators at catalystgamingmedia.com. Thanks everybody again for listening, for showing up to the chat room. Have yourselves a great weekend, and we will see you all inside the Nexus. Goodbye, everyone.
Later.
Stay angry, everybody.
See you later, guys.
And stop. Awesome show.
Ooh.
You know that will be on YouTube still, right?
Good.
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 Night, man. Wow, I think I'm gonna kind of clock right out of Twitch tonight, and want to get a game or two in before I head to bed. I have to be at work early tomorrow, so it's okay. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you all for coming. Have a great night.
Big chat room.
Take it easy, guys.
Hi, guys.